Gaming, the biggest entertainment industry in the entire world. Therefore, it's obvious that crypto gaming will be one of the most explosive growth narratives during this bull market. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 projects that I think will outperform the rest of the gaming ecosystem. Hit the like button and let's get on with it. Now guys, let's set the scene, understand, because gaming has been underperforming, but we are about to see a massive growth phase, and I'm going to tell you exactly why that is and why you can be a bit more confident perhaps in placing some bets in the gaming narrative. This is the entertainment industry, and you can see that gaming, $192 billion per year, is bigger than both the film industry and music industries combined, and is continuing to grow year on year without showing any signs of stopping. Now, in the last bull market, we saw the rise of crypto gaming, and a lot of really not very good games saw massive growth. For example, Axie Infinity absolutely exploded, making people tons of money, doing a 50x plus with a really poor game. Why? Because people wanted to start playing video games and making rewards for it. And please note that Axie isn't one of my picks today, and because I think that this bull market is going to be about games that are actually really fun and really decent to play, combined with the fact that you can actually make decent rewards. That's why we're going to have such an explosive growth phase, and it's coming very soon. We're also seeing major brands out there like PlayStation teaming up with blockchains like Sonium, which is just an indicator that the gaming world from Web 2 is now identifying the opportunity within blockchain. They're all starting to build these partnerships, and therefore gaming cryptos are going to be really hot. It's hard to deny. Now, we're seeing VCs like Animoca Brands pile billions of dollars into gaming projects, and this makes it a very exciting play as well. Many of you out there are like, oh, we're not going to get involved in VC coins. Guys, VCs are obviously the smartest money that there is because they make the most money without fail. They're the first in the door. They identify the strengths. They then use liquidity to pump the prices higher. Therefore, it makes sense to understand what the VCs are doing. Maybe do something a little bit similar. Now, when it comes to any industry or any narrative, it makes sense not to just go and pigeonhole yourself, particularly into just a couple of games, okay? Because if a couple of games don't do that well, but the narrative does really well, then you're going to miss out. Therefore, my first project today, and I think a bit of a no-brainer for many of you, is Superverse, headed up by Leo Trades, and it's the platform that every game out there right now in Web3 is trying to associate itself with. They're trying to build partnerships. They're chasing down Superverse. It's not the other way around. Now, before we look at entries and price predictions, let's just understand why this might be a decent play, okay? Basically, what it does is connects the Web3 communities out there, different communities of different gamers. Therefore, if one game or another does well, it doesn't really matter. If the gaming industry as a whole does well, we expect to see Superverse exploding from that. It's things like this that have all the different games basically chasing them down. We have the built-in reach for any title to become successful by basically connecting highly passionate partners and players from across Web3. And since it's being integrated across different Web3 gaming ecosystems, it basically connects all the dots, okay? If gaming as a narrative does well, then Superverse will also do well. And we can already start to see that happening right now. Now, just as an idea of where projects might go into the future in this bull market, let's have a look at some of the growth that we saw in the last bull market. Axie Infinity went up to a market cap of around $9.5 billion, which is pretty damn big, I think you'll agree. Superverse, however, currently sits with a $470 million market cap, which is pretty big, and quite recently reached its all-time high around a $710 million market cap. So don't let this chart confuse you, because this high is actually bigger than this high, and it's also to do with the fact that there was inflation of tokens. But what we've seen is a very bullish response to crypto markets heating up. Okay, so when we saw them heating up at the end of 2023, we saw Superverse responding well. We're now seeing Superverse responding really well to crypto strength in general, up around 155%. Now, here's something really important to address. It has a big market cap, yes. It has been performing quite well recently, yes. And many of you will be like, oh, I don't want to touch it because I only want to go for a $5 million market cap. And you're right. You're not going to make 50 to 100x in Superverse. Sorry, you're just not, okay? It's too big already. I think there's a good call to see this doing a 20 to 30x, which I still think is fantastic. But I also think it's far lower risk to still decent reward, okay? Whereas if you go for smaller games that might not necessarily get off the ground, then you have huge risk exposure and you're not necessarily going to see good returns. Now, what you can see right now is it's running into a bit of previous support, so I would anticipate that maybe, just maybe, it can pull back. If Superverse gets into an area just around sort of sub $8, I think maybe you've got an opportunity to DCA in. Obviously, if not, you might have to wait for it to kind of bounce around in this area. And then once you've seen a bit of a pullback, maybe you get another entry somewhere around here. But we know we must teach ourselves not to just ape into these big green candles like this. So I think it's possible the Superverse could see maybe a 20x or 20x plus, which would take it to around $20. Obviously, take this price prediction with a pinch of salt. as you should with every price prediction, because they all are basically based on an idea and a narrative that exists now that might change over time. Now, disclaimer, I don't hold any Superverse. I'm not sponsored by Superverse in any way, nor am I sponsored by any of the projects I'm talking about in this video. So why would I talk about them? Well, because I want you guys to do well. Why? Because if you guys do well, I do well, because you're going to support me through this bull market and you're going to continue to subscribe and watch my videos, and that's all I really want. Now, next up, before we move down the little bit of a degen route, another coin that is going to benefit from the ecosystem of gaming growth, and that is Beam, with an $863 million market cap. Stick with me, guys. It's important that you don't just go after the small market cap coins, because the early moves in gaming, in the likes of Beam, Super, and other kind of bigger market cap coins, that once you've made your gains, you can then move into other smaller cap games that might see like a 20 to 30x very, very quickly. And Beam is effectively considered to be an S-tier gaming project, okay, like the top tier of different gaming projects, and that's obviously reflected in its market cap. It's an open source blockchain and full infrastructure play for blockchain-based gaming developments. Started by Merit Circle, which is one of the biggest VCs, particularly in the gaming industry. And in the past, Immutable has already partnered up with the likes of Polygon and Immutable, who are huge names in the gaming space. Beam tokens are being burnt every day, which also helps to deal with that supply and demand issue, and effectively will put buying pressure onto the price. And something else that's very key to consider, and in fact very key to consider for all chains out there, all layer ones, okay, is the fact that there are 30 different games right now being built on Beam. If you're backing layer 1 projects, the games and projects and whatever aren't building on, then you're holding a dud. Now, in terms of Beam, has a better looking chart for being able to potentially enter into it, unlike what we've seen for Superverse. And in fact, I was talking about this on the channel, and if you were subscribed, maybe you caught this when we were talking about coins that were seeing huge sell-offs that had seen massive pushes before. And if you were subscribed, then potentially you would have been able to catch one of these dips where we were buying up in this green zone, and you'd already be up around 58 to 60%. No brainer, right? Subscribe. But as a chart pattern, this looks very healthy to me, okay? We've had a decent breakout from this downtrend. We've put in this little W pattern here. You can see we're now retesting a zone. What I would really like to see is a break, maybe then a retest of around this area before I'm kind of finding entry. It depends, of course, what's going on in Bitcoin and the wider crypto ecosystem, but we are entering into Q4, which typically averages 89% gains for Bitcoin, and that's in 6 days' time. Okay, so in 6 days' time, we're moving into a period of time over 4 months where we're going to see Bitcoin potentially putting up another 80 to 90%, who knows? And then you're going to see massive growth across the altcoins as well. Even up to these highs, you've got 156% potential for Beam, but it's already sat near $1 billion. Realistically, can this go bigger? Well, I don't really see any reason why this can't push towards 15 to maybe $20 billion, which again would be a 15 to 20x on this coin. Fairly conservative, I think, but still a very good opportunity. Now, whether you like it or not, particular influencers can be very useful to follow during these bull markets, particularly ones that are very pro gaming. Elio Trades, you got Alex Becker as well. And if you go across to Alex Becker's recent video, you can copy his transcript, you can go across to ChatGPT, you can paste it in, say which gaming coins did he talk about, hit enter. Now, as you've probably guessed, if you've ever watched an Alex Becker video, he doesn't really have a huge kind of great deal of knowledge in terms of like depth of knowledge into crypto projects, but he does seem to have a great understanding, great grasp of crypto projects. He's also partnered up with a lot of different gaming projects that he talks about on a very regular basis. He will push a lot more videos out as the bull market continues, and he will focus down the narrative towards gaming more aggressively as well. Therefore, you can expect to see a lot of support for certain gaming things, and it's just worth paying attention, okay? Because influencers, particularly big influencers, have a big impact on price movements. Even my relatively small channel talked about SuiPad the other day on a video when we were based around sort of 5-6 cents, and you can see within just a kind of a couple of days after that video went live, we went up nearly 200%. Guys, if you missed that 200% move, it's because you're not subscribed. If you're missing out on these kind of calls, you can get in as soon as those videos go live. Make sure you got your notification bell turned on so that you can also capture these gains. Now, next project, and one we've been talking about over quite a long period of time now, is Enel Prime. Basically a gaming ecosystem that benefits from a dual narrative, both AI and gaming. Obvious, right? AI gaming projects, and this is probably why Alex Becker's been talking about this quite regularly, because he's very bullish on both AI and gaming. We see a great opportunity, right? They've got a strategy game at the moment called Colony, which is powered by OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and that's going to come out in its alpha version in Q1 of next year. And looking into this, the actual gameplay doesn't look too bad at all, and that's quite an exciting thing going forward. They also have a player versus player extractor shooter game that's just been announced called Tau C2, but that won't be out till Q4 2025. But all of these games are basically existing in one ecosystem. Also, the AI element is coming in and improving the gameplay. Basically, it allows for AI agents to come in and enhance gameplay and give you like a more realistic gameplay experience. And they've also been partnering with mainstream gamers, okay, okay? Non-crypto people, they've been partnering with gaming projects and gaming influencers. And if you've ever like watched YouTube gaming stuff, they're the biggest channels, okay? PewDiePie, who is the biggest YouTuber, I believe, still, if it's not Mr. Beast, was originally a gamer. And those kind of gaming influencers are potentially the ones who could start picking up these crypto games, okay? So pay attention to those Web2 influencers who start to use crypto games, okay? In that, you're going to see a catalyst for major growth that maybe goes under the radar initially from people in crypto. Now, slightly smaller market cap, around $380 million, and is up, in fact, 14% today. You can see that this is, again, a project that is going to see a lot of growth. We saw already the effect that once the market got a little bit stronger, we saw what happened to Prime. When everyone was really bullish early doors, we saw a 15, 16x. We saw the price then fall, which has actually been great because it gives you another bite of the cherry, okay? Many of you have been able to accrue a lot of money over the last 6 months that you've then been able to DCA in, and that's actually been quite a good thing for us. Okay, so we identified a lot of these strong projects. They pulled back for us. Now we have a nice kind of chart pattern lining up. You can see if we draw our trend line down, again, a lot of these gaming projects are just breaking out. Just this week, in the last couple of days, we're seeing these gaming projects breaking out. Yes, you could have gone in a little bit earlier, but this is good confirmation for us that gaming is about to go places in a very, very early stage when no one's really yet focusing towards gaming. Again, I think that this bull market is going to be exponentially bigger than the previous one. Gaming will be exponentially bigger. There's no reason why projects like Prime can't see 25, maybe even 30x's if all goes to plan, if we get that AI catalyst drive as well. But obviously not financial advice. Do your own research. I could be completely wrong. It could go to zero tomorrow. I don't think it's going to though. Maybe. Now let's go into the more degenerate, higher risk end of the market, okay? Down towards the stuff that might do alright or might do incredibly well, okay? I think all the other ones are going to do pretty well, but they're not going to necessarily make you a millionaire unless you've already got like a lot of money in the bank. So, how do we make some massive gains potentially, but with a little bit more risk exposure? Well, the next one is Carrot. Currently with a $54 million market cap. Basically the ecosystem for the pet hooligan game, which you can see here. And the token is also going to be integrated with AI, which is another kind of cool narrative play that lots of people are going to start to say as this bull market goes on. We're now using this trading algorithm bot that also incorporates AI, and we also do this. That also has a bit of AI in there because obviously that's the secret source word and that's going to really benefit the investors. But that's okay, as long as you know the game, right? Now you can see this unfortunately launched during a period of time after Bitcoin kind of decided to cool off, which is around March the 11th till now. You can see basically came down, but did see a bit of growth. Now we've seen basically a complete meltdown phase where you see the price retraced all the way down 81%. But in the last few days, you're seeing Carrot starting to show again aggressive growth, okay? Up 91% in the last few days alone, starting to look like breaking this downtrend through here, which is again showing strength. These are all the same. Notice how all of these gaming projects are showing very, very similar charts, okay? They've all been through this kind of like cool off, boring phase, and now they're starting to poke out, and this is when we want to catch them, because people are still not really interested. Gaming's not going to be a thing this bull market, okay? But it is. You can see it's going to be a thing. You can see it happening right now. So again, basically like the gameplay on this one. Could be an interesting one. Smaller market cap. Seems to be having the right chart, right price action. You know, not a bad one. And that's because the pet hooligan game is basically doing pretty well. And the team themselves seem to be delivering a lot of different things. Adding partnerships. Building up a lot of progress. Now, what's kind of cool about a $54 million market cap is we can kind of be a bit looser with our price predictions. Because if it kicks off and does really well, who says that this can't go towards a 2 to maybe even $3 billion market cap, which would take us to a 40 to maybe even 60x should things go crazy. But remember, when you go for stuff that's going to have a bigger potential return, you also go for something that has a bigger potential risk, okay? So measure that up. Not everything is just massive reward and zero risk. It's either massive reward and massive risk, or vice versa. If you're not alright with potentially risking money, then invest in something with bigger market caps that's going to be safer, like the ones we talked about earlier on, right? Now, the next one up is probably one that I'm most bullish on, but it's a bit of a bonus one because it hasn't yet launched, but it is going to be launching very soon. And why is it my favorite? Well, because of this. If you look at the gameplay, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I haven't played games for a very long time, apart from like, you know, games on my phone, tap games, like Tap Go and Candy Crush and other classics like that, because I just don't really have the time, to be honest. But I've played games in the past enough to know what a good game looks like. And this is Off the Grid, which is basically going to have the Guns token because it comes from Gunzilla Games. Now, Off the Grid is a cyberpunk-style battle royale. It's going to be on PC, it's going to be on Xbox, and it's going to be on PlayStation 5. And because of all these different partnerships, the buzz behind it is absolutely ludicrous. The graphics are actually decent. It's the first AAA level game that is actually being released, okay? We've heard AAA level game before, but this one actually looks like a AAA game, okay? And the gaming streamers, like Web2 gamers, who are not like necessarily incentivized have just been trialing this out and actually saying that they really enjoy it. Okay, so that's a very cool thing. People who actually play lots of games are saying that this is actually a good game. Now, Neil Blomkamp is on board, and he in the past has been associated with both District 9 and Elysium. Currently, the game is in testnet phase, and it's going to be expected to be rolling out probably in Q4 of this year, along with the Guns token that's going to support that ecosystem. It's one to watch. If this game suddenly arrives and it just goes crazy, it blows up, okay, even if it launches with a pretty big market cap, which it might, I do think that this is going to have a hugely positive knock-on effect with the rest of the gaming ecosystem, okay? As people go and look for the next AAA game. So all you've got to do, if this one does well, is then go to start for other AAA games that look really good, and we'll obviously work to bring you those. We'll get the research team out there trying to find some of the best games that are out there. Let me know down below which gaming tokens that you are holding right now. Do you think I'm being fair with my price predictions? Am I too bullish or bearish on any of the tokens I talked about? Tell me as well any tokens that you think I missed down below, and I'll happily look at them, and maybe, just maybe, I'll give them some coverage in a future video and we can get some pumps like we've just seen on SuiPad. Now guys, if you are entering into crypto and you're starting to think about making some serious gains and serious money in crypto, then I urge you that you need one of these. This is a NordVPN, and if you use the link down below, you will get 4 months extra for free. Now, this is why you need a NordVPN. It's going to allow you to change your location and your IP address. This is essential because it encrypts your connection to the internet, and it means that no one can spy on what you're doing. In the past, I've had spyware connect and watch what I'm doing and basically raid a couple of my MetaMask wallets and drain all my money. And if I had a NordVPN, that never would have happened. Okay, it costs $2.98 per month, which is like less than the price of a cup of coffee, and you get 4 months extra for free. This is an exclusive House of Crypto discount. No one else gets discounts like this, guys. If you want to get that, then make sure you use the link down below. Also, why I think it's so essential to use a NordVPN is you can then access any crypto exchange you want. Okay, you can access all different crypto exchanges around the world. And that's very important because sometimes you're a bit limited on where you are geographically because certain exchanges won't provide for you. Therefore, if you use a NordVPN and you use an exchange like Bitunix, which is again linked down below, which doesn't require KYC, then you can really kind of operate under the radar. This is very powerful. I do pretty much all my trading on Bitunix, okay? Why? Because the fees are super low. It has all the different coins that I asked them to list, okay? All of the different coins that I want listed on Bitunix that are getting listed. If you want coins listed on Bitunix, list them down below and I'll go and ask the team. They usually will list coins within the next 24 hours or so. And as well, they will airdrop rewards to people who sign up through my link for various different tokens that I talk about on YouTube videos, particularly as we enter into the bull market to incentivize you to use their exchange. Also, there's bonuses and things available all through the link down below in the description. Get yourself an NordVPN, get yourself a Bitunix account, and I'll see you after you've hit the like button next 2 days. Have a good one. Bye-bye.